Home prices here in Frisco, Texas, and around the country have soared over the past few years, as you know. And with that in mind, the most common question I get from potential buyers and sellers right now is, when do I think home prices are going to fall? And it's an understandable question because it's gotten really, really expensive to buy a home. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you an article I came across in Business Insider within the last few days. This article cites Meredith Whitney. She's a former Oppenheimer analyst, and she's known as the Oracle of Wall Street. And in that article, she talks about what she sees happening in the housing market in the years ahead. And I need you to stick around till the end because I'm going to let you know what 4 states she says are most susceptible to price declines in the future. So let's jump into that right now. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas. And it's not really any surprise to anyone. I mean, home prices have soared. And, the idea that what goes up must come down is what everyone's been talking about. And that's home prices. They have to fall, right? I mean, after all, there has been video after video after video out about the market crash, the imminent crash that we're going to see. And no matter what, it's challenging. I'll be honest, it's very challenging for someone like myself to put out a video that talks about this because if we dispute that information, it's looked at skeptically. I mean, asking a real estate agent what the housing market is going to do is kind of like asking an alcoholic if they want another drink. I'm not saying that to offend anybody, but that is a comment I've had said to me. So I understand it completely. And it's a legitimate concern, isn't it? It would seem that anything that we put out is self-serving. And that's not the case at all if you've seen any of the other videos that I have put out on this channel. And if you haven't, I invite you to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this channel now, because the purpose of every single video that I put out is to provide you with the information that you need to make the right decision for your situation, for you and your family. That's what matters to me most. Whether you're looking to buy or sell next month, next year, 5 years from now, doesn't make any difference. I just want to provide the information so that when that time does come, you can make the decision that is best for you. So without further ado, let's jump into this Business Insider article and let me share with you what Meredith has to say. Now, as I mentioned just a moment ago, Meredith is known as the Oracle of Wall Street. And the good news is, for anyone that's been waiting, is she does expect that we are going to see a change in the housing market in terms of pricing in the years ahead. So let's make no doubt, right, that the Fed over the past 18 months, by aggressively raising interest rates, their sole intention was to cause a correction in the housing market. One of their sole intentions. They openly said that housing is driving inflation. Rents and home prices are skyrocketing, and they said it's going to be painful. We need to stop this. That was the intent. Right? The intent was to create a problem in housing, so to speak, right? To bring some balance back into it. But it didn't happen, did it? And so the reason for that is, in order for there to be a correction in the housing market, you not only need demand to fall, you need supply to continue to increase. You need to create a bigger imbalance between supply and demand. Now, what the Fed and most of the other people out there did not expect is for supply to fall along with demand. The Fed did its job. Demand fell, without a doubt. Home sales overall are down. We've been seeing headlines about that for months now. Home sales are down, and they are. So why haven't prices absolutely gotten crushed in the process? And the simple answer is because supply followed demand in coming down. Right? So let's think about it. The vast majority of the country has a mortgage rate under 4%. When mortgage rates jump to 7.5%, why would anyone put their home up for sale? Why would they trade that ultra low mortgage rate and buy a new house at 7 or 7.5%? The answer is they wouldn't, and they didn't. Inventory plummeted. We're at the lowest inventory levels we have seen in years with regards to the number of homes for sale. And that's what Meredith is referring to right here. Homes have been in short supply for years, but that could suddenly reverse later in the decade. So here's what she has to say. Although there's been a lot of talk of recession, Meredith doesn't think that we're going to see one, a severe recession anyway. In fact, she said that consumers appear to be financially healthy, even though credit card debt has been rising steadily. But she does believe that the US housing market is going to face a correction of some sort in the years ahead, but not for the reason that you might think. So let's explain. Property values are up on average 42% since March of 2020. That's a massive increase. What many people don't realize when we talk about home prices is that in most areas of the country, home prices did fall. In fact, here in Frisco, home prices peaked in April of 2022, and then they fell. Depending on which calculation they look at, they fell anywhere from 18 to 19%. They did fall. The only problem is they bottomed out in February of 23, and by May of 23, prices were rising once again. Now, here in Frisco, unlike many areas of the country, we haven't recovered all of the drop that we experienced, but we have recovered about 10% of it. So as of the end of September, prices are still running about 8% lower than they were, the median price that is, in April of 2022. Now, if you'd like to keep up to date on the latest on prices here in Frisco, or in fact, any city or zip code in the country, check the description directly below. I've got a link to the Frisco market report. And from that market report, you can search the latest housing market data in any city or zip code anywhere in the country. So I've scrolled through here. She openly acknowledged there's been a severe home shortage in the US ever since the financial crisis, which pushed homeowner equity to all-time highs at the expense of affordability for buyers coming into the market. And so what we're also seeing now is that first-time home buyers are actually older than they have been in years. Makes sense, doesn't it? They need more time to save up money for the down payment. As a matter of fact, the National Association of Realtors noted that the typical first-time home buyer is now a record 36 years old. Here's where it gets interesting. And what is interesting is right here. Now, Meredith says she's always data-driven, so it's just math. That's what I love about it. Because if you've seen any of the videos, everything that I put out is based on the data. I'll share and help you interpret that data, but it's 100% data-driven by what the market, the numbers are actually telling us. So if you look historically, what Meredith has to say here is 50% of people over the age of 50 typically sell and downsize. Okay, so what she's basically saying is when you start looking at homeowners that are 50 and older, about 50%, so half of those homeowners eventually sell and downsize. Let's face it, kids go off to college. They suddenly have more space than they need. And there's no point in keeping that larger house and the expenses associated with it. So even if you look at it from a conservative standpoint, as Meredith is pointing out, due to the aging population and the number of baby boomers and the number of homeowners that are over 50, that puts a lot of housing supply on the market in the years ahead. So it's just a matter of time, Whitney notes, of home price declines. Again, it is not something that's going to happen in one fell swoop, but it will happen gradually over time. We also know that the new home builders are building like crazy right now. They're trying to increase supply. So at some point in time, we are going to get some equilibrium where this is going to balance out. But it's not going to be the same everywhere. We all know that ultimately real estate is local. So with that in mind, what Whitney has to say here is that there are some states where homeowners are going to be hurt worse than others as values fall due to the increase in supply. And the data has been pretty clear with regards to migration patterns, where people are going. So when you look at all of this, here's what we're looking at right now. Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Illinois are those four states most at risk of seeing home price declines in the years ahead. Now, when I say in the years ahead, I would like to point out that Meredith in this article also notes that he expects this to start to play out by the end of the current decade. So we're still talking 5, 6 years away. This isn't something that's going to happen right away. Now, for those of you local, conversely, she notes, Texas is an example of a warm weather state with positive migration trends. So, what exactly does that mean to you? Well, with Texas being one of those states with positive migration trends, it means that the price declines that we experience here in Texas, by and large, are not going to be the same as they are in other parts of the country. Now, that doesn't mean that all of Texas is going to see this play out exactly the same. Austin is probably the most susceptible right now. It's had the greatest run up in prices during the boom years of the last few. And it's also got more inventory on the market than any other area of Texas right now. Here, specifically in Frisco, the data currently is showing us that we are probably going to be impacted the least. All of the major economic surveys for this area right now are showing continued price appreciation in the years ahead. As a matter of fact, Frisco has just been named the second most recession-proof city in the entire country due to the amount of jobs, migration, people moving in, and industry that is here currently. So again, everyone's crystal balls are a little bit fuzzy. There's a lot of different forecasts out there, and nobody knows for sure what is going on. But I did want to share this information with you, because hopefully it helps and helps you and your family make the decision that is right for you. So if you like this information, you'd like to receive more of it, again, hit that thumbs up button to be notified when I release a new video, and go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I've got a couple of videos coming up on screen in just a moment for you that you may want to check out next. And in the meantime, also in the description below, I've got a link to my calendar. So if you'd like to schedule a call with me and talk your situation through in more detail, I'd be more than happy to have that call.